Hello and welcome to the mill. I am one of your hosts, Dusty, and this week we're just coming back from Gen Con, so a little bit tired. And we thought it might be cool to all of us, Carol, Molly, and I, and maybe a guest. Thought it might be cool to go ahead and record the journal entries. Now, if you didn't know, Expeditions has the achievement sheet that Stonemaier sometimes includes in its games that let you say like who the first person to win this year was or who the first person to win with this faction was. And so the back of that has a journal entry, but there are 20 in total, and you only have one in your box. I know because I only have one in my box. And together, the community put that together, and we have the full story of what the expedition is all about. And so, without further ado, let's get right to it and the readings of the expedition's journals.
June 16th, 1925. This morning, according to schedule, without any major obstacles, we reached the Tunguska River. There was a small settlement near the river. This must be where Dr. Tarkovsky and his expedition refilled their supplies and refueled vehicles before embarking on a journey deep into Siberia. We will probably also spend the night here and try to gather useful information from anyone who saw Dr. Tarkovsky. The river and the surrounding area are so beautiful and picturesque at this time of the year.
June 23rd, 1925. We reached an isolated and curious settlement. The inhabitants here somehow have access to strangely advanced technology and machines. I suspect that one of Tesla's inventors is hiding somewhere in this village. If we can find him, maybe we can convince him to share our plans and technology with us, or even join us.
July 2nd, 1925. We arrived at the town near where Dr. Tarkovsky's airship was forced to make an emergency landing. The surrounding fields are filled with the battered remains of mechs, a harrowing reminder of the many battles that took place here. The people are very friendly and helpful. We'll start by searching the wreckage of Dr. Tarkovsky's airship to determine what caused the disaster. We also plan to mingle with the locals, who should have useful information regarding the wreck and Tarkovsky's fate. June 11th, 1925. Not far from the marked trail, while walking through a dense forest, we came across a working sawmill. The locals were not particularly talkative and were rather focused on their work, but we managed to replenish our fuel supplies. Groups of marauders and scrap collectors were hanging around in the area, scavenging for mech parts and fuel. We have to be careful. One of the lumberjacks told us about the night the meteor struck and indicated where the impact site should be. He also noted that his comrades who worked in the area had gone missing without a trace. July 23rd, 1925. Yesterday we arrived at a place that seemed to be a remnant of a great battle of the last war. The fields were strewn with the remains of enormous mechs and other sombering reminders of the fighting. The local people did not have heavy equipment to deal with these sad souvenirs from the past and clear the fields of iron wrecks. We'll try to help somehow, and maybe, if we have luck, we will learn something about Tarkovsky and his expedition. August 1st, 1925. Breaking through the Siberian taiga, we arrived at an abandoned facility hidden deep in the forest. There were damaged parts of different machines everywhere. We can assume this is some secret military base used by Rasputin, maybe a research station. Or is it one of the secret Tesla bases? After a short rest, taking all precautions, we decided to go inside.
August 10th, 1925. We reached the Zero Zone. According to a local guide, this is the place where the meteorite hit. Every inch of the forest within a few kilometers is completely destroyed, and some trees are still on fire. We set out to search for meteorite shards. Thus far, we can find no trace of previous expeditions sent to this area. One of our men reportedly saw a strange figure slipping between the trees, but he probably imagined it. We are all so tired. August 22nd, 1925. We finally arrived near the meteorite impact site. Our trail was marked by the fallen trees. The impact force must have been enormous, as we saw no sign of life for many miles. The air here has a very strange, pungent smell, and I can feel a growing anxiety among our team. Carefully and slowly, we searched the bottom of the main crater using our mech. I only hope the machine will not be damaged and we will be able to return to the surface. August 29th, 1925. The warehouse's huge walls were full of junk and gears, but in one of the rooms we found a levitating, dark object that dazzled us with strange energy and light. The object seemed to somehow communicate directly into our minds, without making a sound. It was terrifying. September 9th, 1925. Following the trail of Dr. Tarkovsky's expedition, we arrived at the edge of a strange forest. A few kilometers from the meteorite impact. At first glance, everything seemed to be normal, but then we realized we didn't hear any animal sounds. The silence was palpable and felt all at once never-ending, terrifying, and unsettling. We set up camp and sent a patrol off to scout the surrounding woods. The patrol composed of experienced soldiers, but has been gone for hours. I'm starting to worry about what lurks deep within this forest. September 20th, 1925. After a long and tedious climb through the frozen mountain trails, we arrived at a huge abandoned mining town. Our guide told us the people working here suddenly disappeared. Just like that, hundreds of people gone without a trace. I suspect maybe because of some illness. The locals are afraid to venture to this place, as they believe that evil spirits live here. October 5th, 1925. We reached Toyamsk, the edge of the world, the land of the whale hunters. I've never seen a whale before, and the village is full of remnants of these huge creatures. The smell is hard to bear. The locals are proud and insular, but they offered us accommodation and the opportunity to replenish our supplies. We'll try to find out something about the Tarkovsky expedition.
October 16, 1925. After several exhausting weeks, we finally arrived at the Northern Research Base. The base seems deserted, with no sign of Dr. Tarkovsky's expedition. There's a strange contraption towering over the base, almost like a monument. What was its purpose, I wonder? Why was it built? Is this a transmitter or some kind of temple? Tomorrow we'll start searching the base. October 24, 1925. Near our last camp there was a Roosevelt observatory and research station. We planned to rest there and replenish our supplies, but on the spot we only found hungry polar bears and bitter frost. This is so bizarre. What could have prompted these experienced and tough people to leave this place? I can only guess. Tomorrow, we'll try and find some useful information and resources. November 13, 1925. After a hard night and a strong blizzard, we reached the place that undermined our entire knowledge about the world and its history. In the midst of the ice and wind, in the middle of this frozen desert, we encountered what resembled ancient Mayan structures and mighty temples of other ancient civilizations. This structure was similar to others of the type we know and studied, and at the same time different and disturbing. It seemed much older and hewn from some unknown material. It's impossible. From what time period did it come? What kind of civilization created it? And for what purpose? November 19, 1925. Traveling north, we arrived at the Inuit settlement full of strange cocoon-like structures. Unlike the natives we've encountered so far, the people here are hostile and aggressive. According to our guide, these are dark stone followers. I think the cocoon-like structures are pieces of the meteorite. Is it possible the stone has had some effect on the people near it? November 30, 1925. Today, following in the footsteps of Dr. Tarkovsky, we reached a hidden passage to a huge ice cave. Inside, hidden under the ice, were gigantic and terrifying statues of some demonic entity. At least I hope they were statues. They must be thousands of years old. Are these traces of some lost civilization? Who could live and build such statues in such a harsh and deadly place? Was it a temple where some dark gods were worshipped? You can feel some dark energy here. I don't know if I'm more excited or terrified. December 12, 1925. We found a secret passage in the mountains that will allow us to bypass the dangerous area patrolled by aggressive locals unnoticed. We'll need to make a detour, but I think it's worth it. The farther north we go, the more dangers, inexplicable phenomena, and creatures from our worst nightmares we meet on our way. The mountain pass, no matter how dangerous, will be a relief from this never-ending nightmare. December 23, 1925. Going farther north in the footsteps of Dr. Tarkovsky, we decided to shorten our way by choosing the sea route. Soon, after we left, a terrible storm broke out. I could have sworn that some otherworldly power gave strength to the wind and the waves. One of our companions noticed some strange shapes in the water, like some gigantic tentacles trying to catch us. Or maybe it was an illusion created by a tired mind. I hope so. December 31, 1925. Finally, we arrived at the place that seemed to be the end of our search and journey. Far to the north, amid the rocks and ice desert, Dr. Tarkovsky and his demonic servants made a lair. A huge pillar of light and ominous energy appeared before our eyes. I had no doubt that some dark ritual had just begun, and we had to stop it at all costs. To get closer to the ritual site, we had to fight our way through the hordes of possessed. We lost many brave people that day. I miraculously managed to climb onto a huge boulder on top of which Dr. Tarkovsky was performing his ritual. He turned to face me, his eyes filled with demonic energy from another world. All I heard was, "You're too late." Dark energy filled my body. I felt I was losing my mind and ability to control my own actions.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.